Wow. Oh, yes. The Freelancer. Now this ship is going to do everything that you need it to. Not only from hauling cargo, to transporting troops, from getting from point A to point B, but on top of that, my God, can this thing defend itself. Let me give you a tour of this amazing ship. Now, before we begin, a little bit of a warning. This is a two-man ship. Now, that does not mean that you need two people to fly it. But what it does mean is that you need two people in order to use the full effectiveness of this amazing ship. And the reason for that is because, at the very least, this ship needs a pilot. And on the back side of it, it also has a turret. That means that little bit of extra firepower that can put you over the edge inside of combat. So let's take a look at what, if you were just to be a pilot, what you'd have. First, let's start off at the left wing. These babies, they pack a punch. These are two size 3s and two size 2 missiles. Now, if you saw in the intro, you can target people up to a range of beyond 3,000 meters with these things. Meaning, if you're really worried about your hauling cargo, you're in the middle of nowhere, and someone just starts to come up on you, you're going to be able to give them a little bit of a warning. Come any closer, you're going to have 8 missiles in your face. And if they do happen to get a little bit closer, my God. 2 size 3s on each side. Now, these Tarantula come standard with the Freelancer. And as you probably saw in the intro, they pack a punch. In Vandal Swarm, you can pretty much 3-shot any ship out there. And if you get a good enough aim, you can almost 1 to 2-shot them. And given the fact that not only is there 2 on this side, but if you go on the other side, there are 2 on this side, you're not really going to have to worry about being able to hold your own in the middle of nowhere. One little downside to this ship, though, if you look in the front here, it doesn't have the best view. And if you're a kind of guy that likes the nice open area where the bottom and the top are all open and you're going to be able to see the whole world and all the space, this ship's going to be a little bit claustrophobic for you. But don't fear. I honestly think it's a bit, it's enough, you know. I was able to hold my own in all 18 waves of the Arena Commander. And I was very easily able to maneuver and avoid comets the entire time. Speaking of the maneuverability, let's take a look at the back. Now, you have an amazing ability to be able to accelerate. These 2 massive engines give you not only the power to maneuver, but the speed to avoid targets. Now, there is one downside to this ship. It is a big ship. Meaning that if you're going to accelerate to the maximum velocity, it's going to take a little bit to slow down. Unless, of course, if you do a 180 and just floor it in the opposite direction, it might take a bit. But, you know, to be honest with you, I think this ship is worth it. Now, let's get on to the good parts. The inside. Now, there's two ways to enter in. You can go in through this way. This leads you straight to the cockpit here. You just look at this little yellow square. Press F. Ladder comes down. You can go in. Or, better yet, you can go in through the back. And that's the way that we're going to go today. Now, back here you have this massive hatch. Now, remember, this thing is really good at holding cargo. And you're about to see why. Look at that beauty. All of this cargo space. Now, if you want the specifics, this ship can hold 52 units of cargo. Now, if you want to compare that to the other ships, let's say the Avenger Titan, or the 300i, or the 325A, or the 315P, the Avenger Titan, out of all those mentioned, can hold 6 units of cargo. That's not even really... It's a very small fraction of what this thing can hold. 52 units is a considerable upgrade, and far worth the price. Now, not only is the cargo on the inside of the ship, you don't really, for that reason, you don't really have to worry about, you know, someone shooting it off or damaging the goods, which in the future for missions might be important. Your customer might need certain goods to not be tampered with or maybe seen away from prying eyes. This ship offers that. Now, if you're worried about the cargo, or if you're worried about this little hatch here, now there's two ways to be able to close it. You can either look at it and press F. That's a little bit annoying, to be honest with you. They do have two buttons, right here and over there. All you do is you just walk up to them, you activate them, hatch comes up, you're ready to go. You're all alone. Now, there's one other thing inside the cargo space. This amazing turret. Now, this is why you need 2 people, and I'll show you why. Now, if you want to get into this turret, all you do, you look at it, you activate it, and you get taken to the sky. Except for today. Hey, there we go. Alright, so, this is the view from the little turret. I'm not going to move it around, but it can go in a 360. I'm just going to kind of show you around. It does have a pretty nice view. You have 2 guns on both sides. I think they're both size 3s. I think they're both tarantulas on each side, and that means that you can pretty much shoot in any direction. Now, that is invaluable only because of one reason. This ship is a big ship. Now, if you're to be attacked from above, although this ship does have amazing maneuverability, you still might want to make sure that you're not getting attacked from the side because it gives the most surface area for the enemies to shoot you. Hence the turret. Turret's here for you. With that full 360 maneuverability, you can be able to look up, look to the left, look to the right, shoot down anyone that's trying to kill you, and get away. Now, of course, you don't need 2 people to be able to pilot this ship. However, I'm so confused as to what is going on right now. Alright, so that animation's a bit wonky at the moment. Nonetheless, now you don't need 2 people to be able to pilot the ship. You only need 1 to be able to fly around. However, you're not going to get that capability. No one's going to be in the turret. Now, if you're worried about being a solo player, don't worry. Star Citizen has thought ahead of that, and they've come to you with an answer. You can hire NPCs. Now, the different variances of NPC between intelligent to a little bit dull can cost you a little bit, but with enough cargo missions, enough profit, enough runs, you can probably afford that pretty easily and still be a solo player. So let me show you the rest of the ship here. As you can see, the little red lines here is where your cargo is going to go. In between here, now if you're worried about taking up too much space, you can walk on the sides. See, I am not touching the red line and I am able to get past quite easily, so no worries there. And another thing as well, you have a little bit more cargo space here, the little white lines to the left and to the right. So if you were worried a little bit about cargo space. Here's a little bit more for you. Now, this thing is not supposed to be there. My hangar is all kinds of messed up right now, apparently. This is my trophy case. This is not naturally in this ship, but it does look snazzy, actually. I do kind of like it. Kind of wish that you could add these in anyway. Now, another thing about the ship. In the above is an airlock. Now, this is a little bit worrying for you. If you're ever to be boarded, this is where they're going to come in from. They're going to come right from there. They're going to use the tractor beam, they're going to disable your ship, and they're going to pull you up. And they're going to enter through there. Now, there is a way to be able to defend that. You can sit back here and watch them try and come down and shoot them as they come in. Or, you can get to the cockpit and shoot them from here. As long as the trophy case was not in the way, you'd be able to do that. I do apologize for the wonkiness of that, but that is an interesting little glitch there. Alright, so, the rest of the ship. Now, this is where you'd be coming in from if you want to go straight to the cockpit. This door will be closed, as you can see. Oh, there it goes. The door would be closed. And all you have to do is just come on up and you're ready to go. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, how do I close that? There's no options to be able to pull that thing up. Well, actually, Star Citizen has you. You can close this by pressing that little button right there. You turn around, press this panel here, and it brings the ladder up. Everything is perfectly closed. You're ready to go. Now, there are some more capabilities to the ship that are not directly pronounced. As you can probably see, there are 4 beds here. Even though this is only a 2-man ship, you can hold a decent amount of crew. Which means that if you wanted to hire a little bit more NPCs that wanted to like kind of walk back and forth or whatever, or if you have a crew of 6-7 people in your organization, you need to go around from point A to point B, you do have enough space for everybody. And they're not all going to be completely useless, because if you go off to the cockpit here, there are 4 seats. And you may be thinking to yourself, you know, what are 4 seats going to be used? How can you have 4 seats inside this kind of a ship? Well, you have 2 different panels, 2 support seats in the back, 1 co-pilot, and 1 pilot. Now, the support seats have a unique functionality within the ship. And the reason being is their main use is for power distribution. The power distribution would be between putting full power to the shields, to the turrets, or last but not least, the thrusters. Or if they want to kind of balance it out or redirect it in any kind of way, they can also control the power that goes to individual weapons. Now, the reason why that's important. So, if time is going on and you're flying around and you get into combat, right? Obviously, you're no longer going to need a lower energy signature, which means your power is more than likely going to be low at the start. And the reason why you're going to want that is because the lower amount of power that you have, the lower energy signature that you get off, and the less likely that anybody can actually target you, or even see you in the first place. So, the support seats or the co-pilot, what they can do is they can jack up the power. And if you're immediately taking a lot of damage to the shield, put all the power to the shields and turn on and off weapons. You'll have to turn them on because you won't have enough power at the beginning, and they won't turn on automatically, so you're going to have to turn them on one by one, which is why the support seats are here for you. Now, the pilot can also do that as well, but it's a little bit harder to be able to manage all the controls if you're really busy within the pilot seat. Another thing that's really important to recognize is that if you're in combat, and let's say that you lose those massive guns on the left side, power is still going to be distributed to it. It will not turn off automatically. So in order to save power consumption, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to turn that power distribution off. And that will help you save power and be able to redirect it to whatever area that you need it to be redirected to. It helps everything else out, and it assists in your overall combat maneuverability as well as your combat effectiveness. Now, that's the 2 support seats. Co-pilot does pretty much the same thing as the 2 support seats. The only difference is that you have 4 more panels that you can use. So you have the left and the right, and then the top left and then the top right. What those can be used for is you can have radar systems there, targeting systems, or whatever you may need at the time. So for instance, you can have on the left screen, you could have your normal shields, the left, right, front, back, and be able to see how your shields are doing. On the right side, you could have the ability to be able to switch between the weapons, and on the front one, you could have power distribution. And on the left little orb hollow sight there, you could have a radar, and on the right, you could just have whatever else. Now the pilot can do that as well. As you can see, though, the pilot has a lot of other things to be able to manage. Obviously, the view here isn't the greatest, so he has to worry about keeping track of where individuals are. He has to worry about flying the plane and worrying about power distribution, shield management, shield direction, so on and so forth. It can be a little bit taxing for one person. However, you can do it, and I highly recommend, if you are a solo player, that you get the ship, because it is manageable, believe me. Now, that was the grand tour of this area. The last but not least thing is that this thing does eject if you needed to. So if you need to get out of the plane, you will be able to get out. And you can fight if you need to as well. And once again, this is the Freelancer. I really hope that you enjoyed the tour. I love this ship. It is a beast of a machine. It gives you a lot of availability to be able to do the career paths, to haul cargo, to do pretty much whatever you want. It's a very neutral ship, and I would highly recommend it if you are looking for a ship in the future. This might be it. Alright, well, until next time, I suppose. Now I'm going to be going to sleep. Peace.